Hey guys, so Liz is going to demonstrate using the Witech 2.0 for us with a micropod. We've got a 2013 Dodge Dart, I think. Customer request software updates. This customer of the customer, so the person who owns this car, has other Dodge Darts that they've had problems with and have all been software updates recently. So they brought in their third Dodge Dart that they own within the family to have the software updates. Ooh. So we're going to let Liz, the flash here, she's going to demonstrate it for us. So right. Flop the camera.
So just make sure micropod's in.
So we got the microphone in.
Key on.
Key on.
Sure all accessories are off.
All the accessories are off. We got battery support. Yep. So she knows what's up. So she's opening up.
It's also cold, so if I keep doing this, because I'm cold.
Okay, so what website are we going to here?
FCA Witech.
Oh, it's self-populating the .octa. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're just using the launch pad, but you can do this from any like Android device, anything. Android, Apple, whatever. So she's going to type in our password. We're just logging into Witech here.
You're not going to let them see our password, right?
No.
Idea.
Okay, that's a... Yeah, I was probably totally going to do it.
I was waiting for you.
Yeah. Hey, Richard. Hey, Hector.
Long time no see, everyone.
Yeah, she's been off work, so... Oh, the hotspot's on, so you're good. What's up?
You missed a step. I'll go back.
The two-step authentication? Well, okay, so normally you would have to bring up the two-step authentication and look at the password and type it all in, but anytime we do this, we usually click the little button underneath that says, don't challenge me for 14 days. So we only have to do that once every 2 weeks on that tablet. And we use that launch tablet a lot because it's just a nice Android tablet. Yeah. It's actually a Lenovo tablet, the one that's used for the X431 V Pro or just the V. It's a Lenovo. I've taken the case off of it, and it's just a Lenovo tablet. So, hey, Corey. So anyway, so we got logged in.
And so we're going to...
Oh, God, and now it starts doing the... There we go. The focusing thing. There we go.
This is one of my favorite tools.
So she clicked the gear, and then she's clicking just somewhere in the gray because it already connected to the car. So what do we got here? What is this?
These are all your lightning bolts. These are just going to have different options under here. So this is what it's going to show you is like under your PC, and there's multiple bulletins. So... 2 bulletins for this software update that's available in PCM. There's some stuff for the EPS. Check out the EPS one. I bet it's the... So steering wheel vibration at highway speeds on smooth roads. So guys, if you've got a steering wheel vibration at higher speeds on smooth roads on a Chrysler with EPS, there's a software update to fix that. To fix a vibration. So if you're not checking TSBs for every single concern, you're missing out. What do you think? Oh, absolutely. You know, the simplest of things, you're underneath the car looking for, debris or anything else, and here you are, you got a software update. It's going to take care of it for you. So. Bam! Sales tip for the day. Check TSBs and do software updates for everything. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do these PCM. So we're just going to hit the arrow. It's going to tell us what we're doing here. Cool. Attention, and make sure you always read service info. Read the service info. If he's taught me one thing, that is read the service info. Read the service info every time. Okay. So what that was saying, what that last little thing was saying, was that if you're updating the TCM or the PCM, you got to update both. They both need to be at the latest software together. When you have them at like a PCM really super up to date and a TCM behind, you can have all kinds of drivability concerns, and that's what it's telling us. So some more read the service info. Yep, ensure the flashes. So do you understand everything there? I'm reading it fastly. Oh, she's reading it fast. So if you understand, you would just click that little tick mark. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you understand. Now you got to select why you understand. So why are we here? Customer would like to have the flash done. So I always put service information documentation led to reflash the component. Yeah. And then I just type in per TSB in the box, which I think is that what you normally do? Mm-hmm. Then click Flash ECU.
before it flashes, you have to type in your Tech Authority password. So you have to have the Witech subscription to get this far. And then if you want to do flashes, you have to have the Tech Authority subscription, or at least a active username and password, or, you know, there's some interesting stuff about that. But so she clicked log in, and it just starts the, of course, every time I flop it, I've got to change. There we go. She clicked start flash.
And it's going fast.
And it's loading the flash file to the tool. Yep. Starting the flash. And it just now was like, I lost comm. So the module just went offline. It's starting the flash. Yeah. So what's happening here is the micropod has connected to our wireless access point, and starts talking to Chrysler's secure cloud network. Then we can log in from any device anywhere in the world. We could have logged in from a cell phone. I could be in New Jersey and log in to that micropod.
That actually happened once. You were in Philly one time?
I don't know. I was in a Fat Guy's Burgers and Fries restaurant, and she called me and goes, I'm having trouble. Can you help me? So I logged into the micropod from my cell phone and just put her on speakerphone, and I went through the process the first time she ever used the micropod, and walked through, and then she was like, this is super simple. I really like this. But basically, that micropod's talking to Chrysler's secure cloud network, and then we can go onto any device, log onto that micropod, and we see the Witech screen like we're right there with the car. There's actually no communication happening between the device that you're on and the micropod. There's no direct communication.
There's no, yeah.
There's like, even though we're sitting here right next to the car and we're poking buttons and requesting it do this, what it's actually doing is through the application, because that's just a website we logged onto. Through that application, we request that the Chrysler Secure Cloud Network tell that micropod what to do. That micropod, when I set it up, had to be connected to a wireless access point. I had to put in a username and password so the micropod could connect to the wireless access point and talk to Chrysler.
So what he's saying is we could be in that van where it's nice and warm.
Yeah, we could be in the van on the laptop.
Yes.
Doing this flash instead of sitting in the car that's been sitting here all night because it's freezing cold.
Yeah, literally.
Actually, I think they drove this morning, but that they started it because he texted me this morning and said, hey, the car's here.
It's still cold.
Yeah, so they probably just started up and drove it across town. This is Oklahoma. A lot of stuff's 5 minutes away. So, yeah. But if we trusted the car, it's negative 40. I love that when the refresh rate of the LCD screen is close to the refresh rate of the camera, so it looks like it's flickering.
It is not.
Yeah. So we're part of the way through. We're almost done. It's downloading the physical block. 1 of 1. So yeah, that's kind of how the Chrysler thing works, and Liz loves this tool because it's like super user friendly. It
really is, and you have the topology on it is really my favorite, and it gives you green, yellow, red, like what issues you're gonna see instead of like a DTC where sometimes you gotta go look those up. You know, they have a brief description.
You can tell immediately what modules have a code, which ones aren't responding, which ones have a flash available. Just by looking at the topology, all that information's available like that.
And it's right, I mean, it's instant. Like, you can open up modules and it's live. It's really nice. And we used it on a Jeep. That was one of my favorite ones. That mail truck.
Oh, yeah. Had like a couple flashes available.
Yeah.
What? Simple's good for me. Yeah, it's good for me too.
You know, when I'm still learning, you know, every day is a learning experience. We see so many different cars, so many different things we're doing.
You can keep talking.
Okay. That was a horrible shot right there. Right up my nose, guys. But you know, when you're still learning, it's great to have these different tools.
Turn the key off. Paul, seeing it's going to recognize, just press continue.
Yeah, I was like, I have to actually be able to see.
Keep putting the phone right in front of her face so she can't see. We'll just
read the screen.
Yeah.
Just
turn the key on.
Yes, I do need to be able to see.
Continue. So now we got to go and clear codes. It's going to prompt us to do that anyways. Yeah, view DTCs. Yep. There's gonna be there was no DTCs in this car. Not one DTC in one module when we got to it. Yep. Now look at all this crap. So there's super faint up there. Let's see if I can show them first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, just a little grayed out box thing. Just go ahead and click that. And it's gonna be like, are you sure you want to clear everything?
Yes. Everything.
Delete the world.
They're cleared.
Click close, and if there's anything left, it would populate right here. Like, it would just pop up right now.
Just so we're clear, he is this close to the screen. Okay, my finger can barely fit.
Yeah.
So we're back to the topology.
Oh, let me show them that again. So the first time I flip over from the front camera to the back camera, it wigs out. Then the second time, when it catches this thing in the way, then the focus is so.
Now we're back to the topology.
So we're back to the topology. So you can see the grayed out modules. This particular VIN number was not built with those modules that are optional. The blue ones are ones that are communicating and have no diagnostic trouble codes. If they were yellow, they'd have DTCs. If they were red, they'd be not responding. The lightning bolts mean those modules have flashes. So the electronic power steering has a flash. The
here, and you can also
steering
do this.
column control.
Click all flashes.
Oh yeah, and you can see all the flashes that are available, or you can see all the DTCs or all the recalls. Look and see if there's any recalls. Okay. So we always do that and then check to see if let the customer know. Those all show complete, right?
Yeah, they're all
okay. Complete. Everything's complete, so there's no recalls. So we feel like it's our duty that if we find a recall, or I mean, we don't go looking every time, but if it pops, if it's this easy to look, just click a button and see if there's recalls. We put it on the invoice. That way they know, to let the customer know that, hey, there's a recall, so they'll do this for free or whatever.
And I always tell them, as far as when I hand an invoice, I'm like, hey, this is, going over the invoice as I'm handing it to them, and especially when there's a safety recall, I'm like, this is a must that you must tell the customer. We've had seatbelt things happen.
Oh, yeah.
Tension or things like that, where, that's
yeah,
that's very crucial to someone driving a vehicle.
A lot of people don't. We were just talking about a family member we have that sometimes doesn't take great care of their vehicles, and how frustrating it is for me because of the cargo that they carry. So, anyways, it's a big thing that we let them know. It's kind of our job to tell them, hey, this is important. You should do this. Mm-hmm. So let's do. Let's go. We're going to go ahead and do this electronic power steering one because he asked us to do it, and we're already here. We're not going to charge him anything extra. We're just going to do it. So Liz is already, yeah,
I'm already in it. Sorry, guys. Basically, all I did is you can go to the, the ECU had that lightning bolt. You can click that. You can could have gone to where it said flashes that were available. Either way, it's going to bring you to doing an arrow here. And then upon completion.
So the only special instructions for this one is we may need to do a proxy alignment.
Sorry guys, I can't actually
Attention, upon completion of the flash programming, the EPS, a BCM proxy alignment and EPS learn must be performed. So those are two special functions we're going to do. So let's go ahead and do these, and then we'll show them how to do those special functions. I don't think Liz has ever done a BCM proxy alignment. So she's going to learn how to do a BCM proxy alignment.
Every day. Every car is a learning opportunity.
Everything is different. It's so funny. I'll do a class teaching programming, and they're like, all right, so I'm set to do everything now. I'm like, nah, you got to read the service info and everything. It's just ridiculous. And here's what's terrible. A little bit of truth right here. I don't read the service info until something goes wrong. I am horrible. Yes. Do as I say, not as I do.
And he says that to me all the time.
Yeah, I say do as I say, not as I do, because I'm bad about going in. I've never flashed one before, so I just flash it, and I'm like, yeah, I think everything, check codes, and then I run into a problem.
That's all. So ready?
Oh yeah. So I gotta switch back and forth twice, because when I first switch, it's zoomed in.
All right. So basically, I did the same thing we did before. I understood it's a per service info per TSP.
Yeah, she read all the special stuff at the top, so we know what we were supposed to do. It's just saying please review, but it showed us the special instructions a minute ago, so we know we have to do a BCM proxy alignment and the EPS learn.
Yeah. And one of the things I was reading, it could damage the ECU. And make the system not function probably. So just be careful what you're doing,
Take all your precautions. All the loads are off. Mm-hmm. We checked to make sure there wasn't anything plugged in the cigarette outlet. All that.
Headlights are off.
Headlights are off. We got solid battery support, which we checked. So the other day, our last time we flashed something, we got 30 days. So it's flashed slower than flash file. So last time we flashed, that Jeep she was talking about was kind of a learning experience because we hooked up battery support and everything was going swimmingly, right? And then we get to go to flash and she's like, hey, it keeps giving me this battery voltage error.
That was a different vehicle.
Oh, it was? Okay. Yeah. It was some vehicle. Anyways, it was showing a battery voltage error. That's right, because I went and did that F-250 afterwards and had to fix the... So
it was a different Jeep.
It was a different Jeep, right.
Yeah.
So we're doing this update, and it kept giving us this problem. Like, man, it's weird. I was like, battery support's on, everything's good. Maybe I need to move the ground location away from the battery because maybe there's a current clamp that picks that up, and I talked about that in the AutoLogic video. So if you guys go watch the programming a Land Rover RCM with AutoLogic video that I did, if you go, there's an explanation of what I'm talking about with the battery cable when you run into issues with a lot of vehicles that won't do a flash because it gives a battery voltage issue.
Yeah.
So what we found was during that thing when we got done inspecting our clamps and everything, we noticed that the cable had actually broke inside of the insulation on our battery support. So I had to repair that, and that was not fun because I went to do an F-250 flash and forgot, and she had the other battery support, so I had to fix that cable first, and it was a total pain in the butt. But basically, make sure, so what we've done since then is we actually plug in the battery support to the car without plugging it into the outlet first, and make sure that it reads the battery voltage on the car first before we turn it on. Because our particular Power Max, if you just flip the switch, it'll show you what its output voltage is, even if it's not connected to a battery. Yeah. So when you connect it to the battery, the voltmeter on the unit will display, and we'll go, okay, we see battery voltage, which means we have a good connection to the car, and then we turn the battery support on, knowing then that it's, you know, like this car we've got at 13.7 volts. So it's downloading the physical block fast. You notice that when I first switch it over, it's super zoomed in, and that's when I have the focus probe. So this is a much smaller file that we're flashing, so it goes a lot quicker. Oh, who's that? Is that PJ? Let me see here. Hey, PJ. So Corey says, I think we made a point in your class about the fact that all information is irrelevant in 48 hours after it's learned.
So I'm following prompts here. I just elbowed him, sorry. Turn the ignition off. Gonna hit continue.
It'll say turn the ignition on in a second. Then we'll clear the codes. I don't know if it pressed continue.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I didn't. There we go.
There we go, yeah. Please wait 29 seconds left. Please wait. 20, okay, parenthesis.
Yeah.
I was like, is it really got the Chinese language on the micropod? Waiting, please. Succeeded. The Chinglish is sometimes kind of interesting on these scan tools when they're like, it's a American car, but then a Chinese company produced the tool, so then they've got like terrible translation of the instructions, and it's, yeah.
All right, we're back to turning the key ignition back on. Whoa!
Oh, okay, we'll just start the thing. That's...
No, we don't want to start that.
Don't start it.
Don't start it.
It was just performing the logical block check, so really all it was doing was doing a checksum of the software update. All right, up to date. Successfully flashed the ECU from the old part number. So click View TTCs. Gonna go ahead and clear all those.
Again, that's just really grayed out if you missed it a while ago.
Yeah.
It is one of those. I'm like, wait, where?
So it's gonna clear all the ECUs. Are you sure? Like, yes. All right, so click close, and we'll see there's a DTC left over. What is that? Steering wheel position sensor missing calibration. So at the beginning, the instructions said we have to do an EPS learn. So now we got to do an EPS learn and a BCM proxy alignment. So let's do those two things. Let's start with the EPS learn because we have the code for that, a hard set code. So we're going to go to your topology. She's going to select the EPS control module.
See, this is one of the things.
There,
sorry, guys. This is one of the things I love. If you look at the topology, this is like, you know,
we immediately know we have a DTC. So select that module. So at the top, it's pre-selected flash. We're actually going to change, hey Peekaboo. And we're going to go to, I think it's miscellaneous functions, but it could be under system test. But let's click miscellaneous functions.
Again, this is a new one for me.
EPS learn, there we go. So we got to select that. This procedure will be used to initialize the EPS, performs procedure only when the EPS has been replaced or a front-end suspension has been aligned. Not true, because we were told we have to do this just with a software update. Yeah. So click continue. All right, so park the vehicle on a flat surface, ensure the steering wheel is in the center position, and select start. So start the car first, so we can get we're gonna start this to get the electronic power steering going, and she's gonna get this steering wheel centered, make sure it's like in a nice rested center position. Does that look perfectly centered to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go, I'd shut the car off and go key on, engine off. That way you can't easily touch the steering wheel, because now the electronic power steering's, you know, it's got is the resting position, like it's zeroed position good?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Park the vehicle on a flat surface. Ensure the steering wheel is in center position. Select continue to start the EPS learn. The steering will be moved, full lock right and full lock left, and back to center.
During this procedure. So actually, go ahead and start it. Then start the car. Because if we're gonna have to move the steering wheel full lock left and right, we need this thing running.
The steering will be moved.
Yep.
All right, ready?
Continue. Yep. Steer the steering wheel lock to lock 3 times. Full right, full left, then full right, then back to center.
All right. So full right, lock.
Full left,
lock. Full right, and then back to center.
So get the steering wheel centered, and then I'm going to make sure that the wheels are actually centered. Dang you, Chrysler, without the automatic windows. Hey guys, you let me know, does the steering wheel look centered? Does the wheels look centered? No, I'm kidding, they are.
All right, we're going to hit continue.
Hit continue.
Turn.
A quarter turn past center to the left, so do that. So just do like a quarter.
Quarter turn?
Yep. A little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. That looks good. Okay. Now go right a quarter past center. So, okay. Then go left a quarter past center. Okay. And then back to center position. All right, then we press continue. Cycle the ignition to the off position. Okay. Press continue, and that's probably going to be saving that information into the EEPROM.
I was like, you can stop looking at the steering wheel.
Okay, so Gaston, I gotta catch you up real quick. What's going on here? Because the question you asked has been misconceived many, many, many times. Gaston says, was the topology overlay included in the launch tool software? We are using this launch tool only as an Android tablet right now. We're using a micropod and the factory Witech subscription.
You notice up here, this actually shows you that we're on.
We're just on the
online,
website. Yeah, we're just on the website using Witech. I could have used this cell phone for it. We could have used her cell phone. We could have went in there and borrowed a tablet from somebody. We could log on a computer and do this.
Cycling the ignition to the run position.
That was actually the start position.
Oh, you were correct.
So let's go.
Continue.
Okay, so click and continue. EPS learn complete. So click close. All right, so we're done with that. So now we need to go and do a BCM proxy alignment. So there's these 3 little buttons up here, 3 little lines. So then there's this, I'm gonna have to, I think it's guided diagnostics.
Okay. Again, guys, I have not done this.
Restore vehicle configuration.
Is in run.
Yep. And click continue. It says if you just replace BCM RFH, you may not be able to change the ignition status, but we're just doing a proxy alignment. So
continue. It's
validating the VIN number. And it's restoring the vehicle configuration. Following elements may change the vehicle configuration. So look, T-case low ratio was invalid, vehicle track invalid, microphone configuration never happened. So this needed a proxy alignment anyway. So click continue. It's going to write this data and reset the BCM. Yeah, resetting the BCM. Please wait. Prox has now been written in line to the other ECUs. Please continue procedure. Make sure the radio is turned on before continuing. It is on. We don't have to listen to nothing.
Just making sure it's on.
Click continue. It's going to write that vehicle configuration. Finalizing. Please wait. All right, so it's set to T-case ratio. Please close the procedure, shut the ignition off, close all doors, unplug nine spool, and let the bus go to sleep. So click close.
You mean to do that?
Yeah, close the procedure.
Okay.
Make sure there's no other instructions first. Cool. All right, shut the vehicle off. Pull the key out. Open and close the door, or open the door, and then pull the micropod out. And close it. All right, so now we gotta wait for the bus to go to sleep. We'll replug the micropod back in, let it reconnect, and then we'll double check for codes, make sure everything's good to go. All right, so there's a couple questions here. She said you were right. I know, right? And that's on camera that she said I was right. How much is the Witech 2 ready to roll? The dongle itself is $1,850. Then you need a $1,600 Witech subscription to do diag and let it be used. And then you need an additional $1,800 subscription for flashing. So, lotto money. And then, how do you set the micropod to work wirelessly? I've been using mine with a USB cable. Marcos, unfortunately, I think what you're using is a non-secured micropod that you probably bought off the internet with some Chinese software. Not digging you, man. I'm just saying that if you're using a USB cable, I don't think you're using a secure micropod. So the serial number on your micropod has to be more than 31560 is the part number. WSP 31560 if it's a legit micropod, and then that is a secured unit which can be used for Witech 2.0. Once you set it up for secured use, then everything should go. Now, like the instruction, you got to follow the instruction on the screen. It tells you how to set it up. No, it's a secured micropod for Witech 2. Okay, so you're gonna have to download the micropod utility from the FCA, from the DC Tools website. That's on. I think if you go to trying to think here. I think it's fcawitech.com. You log into your account, your NAFTA account, and then NAFTA with an F, so North American Free Trade Agreement, Chrysler account. Then you'll go to, like, you're going to register your micropod, and there's a little thing down at the bottom that says download the utility here. You download the utility. It's where you would go to buy your subscription. You download that utility to the laptop. You install that utility, and then there's a lot of really complicated instructions with hooking up the USB cable, turning on your wireless connection, applying your connection, your wireless connection to the micropod. Once the wireless connection's set up, then what you can do is you have to have that wireless connection that you set up the micropod with you at all times. So we use the hotspot here and the hotspot in the van. Both of those are set up to connect automatically within the micropod utility. Then you have to have an active subscription to complete this. So you go into your Witech subscription, and there's a little gear at the top right-hand corner of that gray box. You click configure, then you finish configuring your wireless stuff there. And then this whole process takes like 40 minutes. It's a lot of instructions. It's a lot. I think I don't have a video on setting that up. I don't think. Not a micropod, no. I have the instructions for how to do it with a JBox. It's on the website l1training.com, but all the instructions on there on how to set up Witech 2.0 with a JBox and everything, how the whole system works, all that stuff. With a micropod, no. So that may be a video that we'll do that. I did just post a video on the website of how to partition hard drives, a complete video. I made a little teaser preview, put it on YouTube, which I got some thumbs down for because I didn't just give you all the information for free. But I did make the full video, which is like 40 minutes or something, on how to completely partition a hard drive with Boot It. The video on how to partition a hard drive with just a Windows disk is coming out soon. I'm almost done with that. So, but anyways, there's a lot of it on there.
So yes, micropod.
What was the question?
Right there.
Micropod is only on PC, or can it be used on other platforms like Android? We're using it on Android right now.
Right.
This
Android,
is, we're actually using it on
our launch tablet.
This is the Launch X431V, which has nothing to do with what we're doing. I need to be very clear because this causes confusion every time. Yeah. They're like, oh, you're using the launch. This is the launch tablet. This has nothing to do with launch. It's simply an Android tablet that has an internet connection, and it's ruggedized, and I carry it in the van. So it was the first tool I grabbed with a big screen.
So we can use it on this. Yep. We can use it. I mean, heck, you can use it on Apple product if you want to.
So would a older Autel J-Box work with Witech? I don't think the older Autel J-Box has the API 5.0 capabilities to work with Witech 2.0. I am not positive on that. What I can tell you is I have used the old Bosch J-Box with it that has API 4.4, but they recently have made software updates, and I've been made aware that that may not work anymore. The problem is I don't do a lot of J-Box Chrysler anymore because we have 2 micropods. I think she actually probably has the other one in her pocket. Yeah, and it's a, let me see. It's like one of the, it's pretty close to the last secure. So the serial number on this one, I don't know if you can see or if it'll focus, but it is 39526. So it's one of the first, you know, within the first 1,000, within the first 500 of this, no, within the first 1,000 secured micropods. This is an old unit. It's a little beat up. But then I have a new one. So that way each van can have one. Today we're kind of slow. So we're just kind of doing this together, which actually we ended up having more jobs than what we expected today. So
yeah.
The reason why you would use the micropod instead of a J-Box is way less wire. You'd have to have a laptop here with the J-Box, it set up on here, ready to go, and then you could use that. I mean, it's just a lot more stuff. I can literally, if I wasn't making the video, I wouldn't even use this tablet probably. I would just use the micropod and my cell phone. The cell phone that has the 2-step authenticator. I would have probably just done it from there. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We've been on here how long?
29 minutes, I think it said.
32 minutes. No, 32 minutes. And we've spent more than half the time just explaining stuff. So we would be in and out in 10, 15 minutes with this thing.
Like I said at the beginning, this is one of my absolute favorite tools because...
Hey, the bus is asleep. Plug the micropod back in.
We are ready.
Yeah, and then we'll plug the micropod back in, cycle the key on, double check the codes, make sure that everything's copacetic, and then we're going to pack it up and go.
All right.
So she's got the micropod in. Yeah, the launch is a good scan tool, but it has nothing to do with what we're doing today. Nothing we have done in this entire video has anything to do with launch.
I mean, for a micropod, you can use any tablet, any cell phone, anything with an internet connection.
That runs Android or Apple operating system. Yeah. So we could use an Autel to do this. We could use, because they're an Android tablet with an internet connection.
You want to show this? Basically,
yeah, hold on. I gotta double change the camera because it wants to.
So because we disconnected the micropod, it lost its connection. It wants to go back. No problem.
Yep, it sees the car already. 9 DTCs. See, we need to go in there and clear DTCs now because we've done the prox alignment.
All right, so we're gonna go to all DTCs. Again, it's really small.
Configuration mismatched, invalid data received from. Yeah, so we got to clear all that stuff.
Continue. Okay.
And wait a second, make sure none of them repopulate. Maybe go ahead and cycle the key off and then on.
Be very careful. I've started the car multiple times.
You could have started it on this one, but that's okay. So yeah, no codes came back. I mean, this is live. It would have popped up. So we're done.
Yep.
Because right now we have an X431V Pad 2 and can't do anything with newer Chryslers. Looking at what would be best bang for the buck, man. The problem is that micropods are expensive and all that's expensive. You have to do a lot of Chrysler stuff with it. I still recommend using a J-Box for most of the stuff. Witech was having issues with the Cardac 3 causing lost comm issues, which I think they're still working on. So it's kind of a catch-22 right now. Like when they fix the software issue when Witech fixes the software issue with the Witech devices, it'll work flawlessly, because it worked flawlessly for a long time, and then they updated the software and had a problem, and I don't know where they're at on that. I have an SIR out with Nastiff right now, and they're supposed to be getting back to me. They're probably supposed to get back to me like a week ago, so probably got to call them again and wait again, and this is like a 6-month ordeal I've been dealing with. This issue that I had with the DrewTech J box and Witech 2 is what caused me to get micropods. So
wait, I'm gonna start cleaning up if you are.
Okay,
ready.
she's gonna start cleaning up. I guess we got to go. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Like I said, please, to be very, very, very clear, this had nothing to do with launch. The launch tablet did not do anything. We are not using the launch tablet for anything in the launch software. It can't do any of this stuff. We're using it as a internet connection. We're using it as a Android tablet. So that seems to be a point of contention every time. So I need to make that very, very clear. Please do not think that we are using the Android tablet. Cannot do any of this.
This guy right here, that's...
Yeah, we're using a factory micropod with a subscription and just using the launch as an Android tablet with an internet connection. So, cool guys, we're out. See ya.
Bye.